It's time to financially enhance your life and create generational wealth with Brandon, Mr. Finance, the millionaire maker.
The best things in life are free, but you can get
Brothers and sisters, I want to welcome you back to life, back to the one that can make your next chapter your best chapter. Hallelujah.
Hey, it's yours truly, Brandon, Mr. Finance, back with another segment of Let's Talk Credit, Money, and Building Wealth in Real Estate. I am your host, Brandon, Mr. Finance, the millionaire maker, looking to make who? You. That's right, you, a millionaire too. And you know what I'm going to say? It's your time and it's your turn. One more time for those in the back that didn't hear me the first time, it's your time and it's your turn. We got a hot one in Chicago, y'all. It's 99 degrees outside, but we're still here talking about money and financial increase and how to create freedoms for yourself, for the generations that will follow. How to create passive income that can replace the active income, how to create residual income that can prepare not only yourself, but those that you love and you care for, so you can make money in your sleep, right? You want to make money 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you want to set the vehicle up one time or do tweaks here and there when you have new introductions. And that's what we help people to do, to build wealth, to build passive, to build residual, to build generational wealth, to protect it all. So if you want more information about that, go online to BrandonMrFinance.com. That's BrandonMrFinance.com and book an appointment. Fill out that short form. There's so much information that that people are not aware of. I had the pleasure this morning of speaking for the AKA chapter, well, one of the AKA chapters in Indiana that I've spoken for before, but I spoke for the youth for them the last time and in their church, as well. So we wanted to talk about how to create, wealth within the community, of the younger generation, but also those who are, middle-aged and those who are a little bit more seasoned in life, so that they don't have to go back to work due to inflation, or you can live out your dreams or start being forward thinking for those that you love and you care for, to prepare children, whether they're babies, young adults, or adults, and they've been grown a long time, if you will, prepare them to be in a position where they could access monies and not have to get permissions. What I was sharing with the group this morning is that many people work these jobs for 20, 30, 40 years, and they can't access their own money without permission. And to me, that's a problem. If it's your money, you should be able to put your hands on it to be able to build things for yourself and for community around you, right? Or if you have an idea, you should be able to populate those things. And, we're going to show you how to get those things bring those things into fruition, so that way you could tap in on the success principles and have a clear path to getting where you want to be. So if you want a passive income, that can pay you quarterly anywhere from $3,750, in your first 30 days, and then every 90 days up to $42,000 the very same way in 30 days, and up to every 90 days, using your credit, using money that you have on hand, one or both, to build out to create the framework, if you will, to be able to, elevate your life, leveraging what's in front of you. Text your name and partnership to 812-244-3609. Text your name and partnership to 812-244-3609. So what we've done with our partnership program over the last couple of days is we've made some tweaks as well. So we do quarterly payouts, right? But heavier droves of money come your way. So like if someone were to invest, let's just say $15,000, right? We're going to give that person, a pretty sizable return, 50% return on their money over 24 months. But what that's going to look like is they're going to get $3,750 in the first 30 days, and then every 90 days they would get that, right? So nothing in the market can give you a 50% return, let alone a 60% return like we can. So we're going to show you how to create your own financial increase, and you can do this on more than one occasion, up to 4 times per year if you choose to, right? So if you want to give yourself that additional $7,500, up to $136,000 for each investment you make, over a 24-month span, but receive payments, in your first 30 days and then every quarter that way, you can do so. That's a real increase, y'all. So you know what? If you want big money, you want big money now, you want to get tax breaks, and you want to, again, create the framework that will free you and free others that you love and you care for, text your name and partnership to 812-244-3609. Now, what will you learn in my partnership program? People ask that question all the time. We're going to show you how to build, not only personally, not just for a not-for-profit if you have a 501c3 or a not-for-profit, but also for the business, right? So we're going to show you how to create wealth amongst those you love and you care for, so that way you're preparing your successors, those who come behind you that you want to share this with, or that spouse, if you want to share with your spouse, right? And you want to create more than one of you in the market, because rich people and wealthy people, they replicate, they duplicate themselves into other people, and they create systems, right? So what better way to create wealth in your family than to make sure that the people around you they're qualified to get what they want to be. And many of you, if you have at least a 2-year credit history, even if you can't prove income within a week's time to 90 days, I can build you up to qualify for practically anything in the market, with respect to, not providing W-2s or tax returns, which can be several $100,000 for some of you to be able to go out and buy increase. So if you want to buy property and you want to improve property and create value to get equity, income tax free in your hands, right? And then recoup what you put into that property or those properties if you got more than one. And then make a passive income. Text your name in partnership to 812-244-3609. If you want asset protection, some of those forms come by way of insurance, others come by way of trusts and wills, and then there are other things that you can put out there that you can bulletproof yourself to make sure that what you have is secure and that it can never be penetrated or taken from you, because it's not bound by the U.S. tax code. It's bound by certain things. That come from afar. But you can also do some stateside trusts as well that have some bulletproof protections for you as well. So getting the information and getting an understanding on how you can build wealth and then get your time back is a very powerful, but it's also a priceless thing, because your time is precious. Every second that goes by is a second that you lost. Every minute that goes by is a minute that you lost. But you can actually own your time, right, and prepare your own financial increase through my program. So 1 being my passive program, 2 being real estate as a secondary passive income. The third layer is also insurance. So when I talk about insurance, these are vehicles that don't require you to have good credit to invest in yourself. Many of you think that you have to work a job to build wealth. You don't. If you have good credit, you can leverage the bank money and that good credit to get where you want to be, to see what you want to see. Some of you have cash on hand and have terrible credit. And you say, Brad, Mr. Finance, I want my money to go to work for me. Show me how to dispatch my money through your program and make a passive income, but then also prepare myself to be able to get more credit by way of the bank to be able to buy more income and get tax breaks for living a more enhanced life. I want that for myself. I want that for my spouse. I want that for my children. If that's you, text your name in partnership to 812-244-3609. Don't take my word for it. Go to my website. Research me is what I tell everyone. That way you can know that you're dealing with a stand-up guy and company for that matter, right? I've been on the radio for almost 20 years. Been in radio for a little bit, TV for just shy of 2. So when you turn on your TV networks during the NBA finals, or when you turn on WCIU or MeTV or Fox or WGN, you got to see me there. When you turn on most of the major large networks and radio, you got to hear me there. And it's not because I'm saying, hey, look at me, I'm so wonderful. It's, hey, you know what? I'm here to help you. I'm here to provide a solution that can free you, but not only you, but those you love and you care for, to provide individual and group economics. So if you want change in your life now and you want to set it up, if you say, hey, you know what, Brandon, Mr. Finance, show me how to take your program and replace my $80,000 a year income, and I want to start doing this in the next month. Right? Or show me how to replace my $200,000 a year income, and I want to start doing this in the next month to 60 days. Well, guess what? You can do so. Right? Text your name in partnership to 812-244-3609, or go online to brandonmrfinance.com and book an appointment, or fill out that short form. Why do I want your information? I want myself or someone from my team to be able to reach out to you and give you a plan, a blueprint to success that you can actually, that you can see yourself following, right? Because it's not intrusive on your schedule. We don't need a lot of your time, but we do want to prepare you for what's coming ahead. And right now we don't know what's coming ahead, right? We're just taking it day by day. For many people, right? Let them enforce inflation on your life, or our lives, if you will, because everyone goes through it. It's just that some people feel it, some people don't, because of their financial liquidity or resources. So we want to make sure that whatever goes on, that financially, you're not feeling like money's a burden or it's an issue for you in your life, because you have the means and the resources to be able to get where you want to be, to see what you want to see. If you want real financial change, text your name in partnership to 812-244-3609, or go online to brandonmrfinance.com and book an appointment, right? If you're watching me live on Facebook, share, tag a friend, let them know what our offers are and how we can be of service. The conversation is free, right? And you can use the bank's money if you don't have any money to get involved in your own and creating success if you have good credit, or a partner or a spouse that has good credit. If your credit's not good, but you got money in the bank, you got money in retirement funds, you got a spouse that has good credit or other resources, or you got credit cards if you have good credit, or you say, hey, I want to maximize this 0% credit card to get some free money by way of points and cash rewards, and I want to benefit through your program too. I want to win twice, Brandon, Mr. Finance. And then I want you to show me how to take that money and make more money through insurance. Then I want you to show me how to get involved in real estate. I don't really want to do real estate, but I would like a strong passive income. Show me how to get with a management comes that they can deal with the day-to-day interactions that are on the horizon or that come up, and I can just make money from what I created daily, hourly, weekly, monthly, annually, or all the above. If you want these things for yourself, right? Text your name and partnership to 812-244-3609. Let me ask this question. Did you know that you can buy a car at 0%? Did you know that you can buy a house or building or buildings or houses at 0% because you have good credit? There's a way to do it. And then on top of it, there's a way to get income tax-free capital. There's a way to create insurmountable amounts of equity if you want to build it from the ground up, or if you want to renovate it. There's also a way to recover what you initially invested and then also get a tax write-off for improving that property. There's also a way to get some more free money by way of the business based on how we structure it if you choose to take the approach at 0% financing. We can build this out for some of you within a matter of 7 to 10 days, some of you 30 to 90 days. But if it could give you an extra 50 or 100,000 bucks a year or 200,000 bucks a year, would that be a win? Yes or yes? Do you want that for yourself? Text your name and partnership to 812-244-3609. Text your name and partnership to 812-244-3609, or go online to BrandonMrFinance.com. That's right, BrandonMrFinance.com. Now, what I'm going to start doing relatively soon, for this next chapter, after June, I'm going to start bringing on people that are part of my program. I want you to see them face to face. Most of my clients that make a lot of money with me, between $3,000 and $40,000 a month, are seniors. They're more than 1/3 of my clients. The people that don't trust people with their money because what they have is already affixed in their life, or they don't want to risk losing it. We put them in place where they can make between $3,000 and $40,000 or more per month, leveraging our process, because living inside the tax code affords you some opportunity, right? So if you want change in your life, text your name and partnership to 812-244-3609, or go online to BrandonMrFinance.com. Now, we're also introducing our new program for funding, right? So you'll see my 4-week business building course on my website as well now. It's $6.99. It's 4 sessions, right? They're going to run an hour, 40 minutes of information, 20 minutes Q&A. So if you got questions, you want to get those questions answered, ask those questions, when you're involved in our program, right? But then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to build you. And before we even get to that portion, we're going to find out where you are in life to make sure that we can be of service to you before we start collecting money from you. That's important. So now that this is not a money grab. This is a solution-based product that we're offering to those of you that want to grow your financial picture by way of real estate, by way of doing event space. You have a ministry, you have a transportation business, you have a clothing line, you have a skincare line, you have a jewelry line, you're an esthetician or a nail tech or a barber or a stylist, and you want to own your own facility and you want to make large amounts of cash, right? And then you want to get your time back. You want to buy your time back, and you want the bank to sponsor your increase. But you also want to make a passive income through my program that can pay for what you borrow. And then you can also profit from what you're creating that you believe in as your primary business too, as you generate more revenues. Believe it or not, it's very easy to make 6 figures. $250,000 a year is easy to replace. I was sharing it there too with the AKA chapter this morning that I said, look, you're making $250,000 a year or less your income. I'm gonna give you a narrative, an easy way to do it. Buy a 4-unit, right? Do salon suites in that 4-unit, right? But make it look like it's supposed to look. I'm just giving you a simple fix. And if you're getting, let's just say $250,000 a week, and let's say you got 4 bedrooms on each floor of this 4-unit, that's $1,000 a week per floor, give or take. So now that's $4,000 a week times 52 weeks. What that break down to? A little better than $200,000. Now we on our way to $250,000. Now, if you got a mortgage on this property, let's call it $4,000 a month, and you're making, and so you take $48,000 from 208, you got $160,000 that you don't have to work hard for every year. I mean, because of what you built. Do 2 of those buildings. Do 1 of those a year for 5 years. You got $900,000. Right, you're almost a millionaire. And then, not to mention my passive income program that's going to bring in more revenues and other things that we can do. And I didn't even get into the part where we could build income tax-free capital from the real estate too. You're a millionaire, right? So I'm just trying to show you that it's very easy to replace $250,000 a year incomes. If you're making that kind of money too, and thinking that, how am I going to become a millionaire? I'm giving you the narrative, right? But what blocks most people is fear, because fear is paralyzing them. The people around them that don't understand it, and quite frankly, they don't understand money, and they're not bad people, but it's never been explained to them. It's never been taught to them how to make money grow. Many don't know that if you don't have good credit, you can invest in your life, your number one asset, and become a millionaire. And you can talk to your financial planner about what it takes to get to that point, or what it takes to make 50, 100, 200 grand a year passively for the rest of your life, and then trust and put it inside of a trust in the will to make it get passed down to those you love and you care for. That conversation doesn't get had in everyday communities because right now they're so busy trying to sustain life, trying to operate and manage day-to-day expenses. But you got a vehicle. If your credit's not good, you can do a contract and you can build someone else around you. You can build their credit up and then let them understand, hey, you know what, as we build you up, I'm going to put you with my guy, Brand Mr. Finance. He's going to show you how to make passive income to where you may never have to go to work at all, or to where you can quit that job and make significant money on an ongoing basis that you can rinse and repeat year after year, that you can own by way of real estate additionally, but you can also invest in life insurance and then protect it with a trust in the will. This is good information, y'all, but if you don't understand, it's kind of hard for you to take it in, right? But wealthy families, oftentimes people that come from other countries, that have, been given some freedoms for the first 7 years, they understand this. They come in with a mindset of, I'm going to build for my family. I build for my last name. You've been here your whole life and you going through things and you're still afraid to make a move. If this is the land of the free, act like it, right? Stop having a poor mindset. We got to change that. So if you want to change your narrative, right, you want to build passive income, residual income, and you want to do more. You want to do that on more than one occasion. You don't want to suffer in silence or loud anymore, right? You want to see changes in your life, and you want to see them start happening in the next 30 days or less than that. Text your name and partnership to 812-244-3609. Text your name and partnership to 812-244-3609. If you're watching on social media, I have a binder in front of me because I like to look at my information all the time to kind of critique myself. I'm very critical of myself because I want to make sure that what I'm giving you can change your life, right? So we have ways of securing lines of credit for those of you that want to secure lines of credit with or without financials. In my binder, when you get into my partnership program, we're going to give you at least between 34 and 40 tax deductions that you do every single day, or throughout the month on a constant basis in your life, and make you understand how you can get tax breaks. You pay bills every month, right? Most of those bills, when structured properly, are a tax write-off, right? Otherwise, you're just spending money to keep something alive and keep it paid, keep the bill paid, and getting no perk for it, right? So we're going to show you how to get paid for spending, how to execute, right? How to add value to your life, how to make money for referrals with no upfront cost to them or you, how to make a conversation be able to pay you between $3,000 and $10,000 or more per month, right? I tell people that if you got friends around you that have good credit and they need funding, right? Need $100,000. And we can help that person that can't get a tradition, that person that just got fired from a job that has a great credit score, or that person that has a fixed income and it's not a whole lot of money there, but they want to get some funding based on future income or projected income, and they need $100,000, and we could get it for them, right? Well, you can make $3,000 per referral like that when successful. So what if you help 30 people in a year, or 33 people, or 34 people in a year? You're over six figures with no heavy lifting, and you benefited some people in your life, right? No upfront cost to you or them. So we got paid to perform. We do have a cost for our services, but I'm just giving you the narrative and helping 34 people a year, right? You made $102,000 using that example I gave you. All they need is good credit. I said nothing about proof of income. I said nothing about verifying those things. If you have a 680 credit score, 2 years of credit history, no bankruptcies, no foreclosures in the last 3 years, minimal credit inquiries, and reasonable credit usage, you can print money. You can own your time for once in your life. You can decide how you want your days to look, how you want your weeks and months to look, how you want your years to look. When was the last time that you could decide to give yourself a pay increase? For most of you, never. Or I like to say not never, because that's the reality. That's the harsh reality. Somebody is deciding everything for you, your days, when you got to be at work, when you can leave to go home, when you can spend time with your family, when you can go on vacation, when you can go to the bathroom, when you can buy a car, right? And they give you just enough to sustain life, or they require you to live a certain lifestyle that requires you to that make sure that you stay on that job because they want to keep you working until the end of life. And that's what's going on right now around you. And if you don't do something different, you will get more of the same. You continue in that failure, that path to failure. Not that you're a failure, but you're rehearsing the same day every year, never exploring your dreams is what I'm really alluding to. Never giving yourself an opportunity to check out things on your bucket list and then get a tax break and make the banks pay for it. Now, you're always going to pay the banks. They're never going to lose. Let me be clear. But you know what? If you have good credit, you can also make them sponsor your success, and then you get a tax break because now you're going to become a business or a corporation owner, if you will. You're gonna learn how to explore life for the first time for real in your life, right? No more hustling, no hook or crook. This is just simple. I have good credit. I built a relationship with you. I came through Brandon Mr. Finance, and now I'm able to access capital that can help me to further myself and further my family's future too in the process. Is that a win? Yes or yes. If you want more information, go to brandonmrfinance.com and book an appointment. If you want to partner with me and you want to create passive incomes that can pay you anywhere from $3,750 up to $42,000 in your first 30 days, and then every 90 days for 2 years, that means you get 8 payouts, right? To make, either $7,500 profit or $136,000 in profit. Now you got money in your investments in your CDs and your, that's paying you 3 to 4%, and you're going to get taxed on that profit, right? You got money that can come through IULs or annuities that can make you some aggressive money if you have big money to put in. But most of you, let's be real, you don't start with big money, right? Right. But we're going to show you how to start with big money so that if you want to create a nice 4, 5, or 6-figure income off of what you created and still protect the family, you could do so. And in some cases, you have to even pay it back. It impacts your death benefit. God forbid you go anywhere. But I'm just saying that you can create the language and the trust and the will to make sure that what you created for passive income and residual income and other things can be protected and never leave your family. Protect your last name and make sure that nobody goes through struggle. In all my events, I show people that, I don't like giving my family money. What do I mean by that? I want to pay them through my payroll system. Why is that important? Because if they're of age or coming of age or when they become of age, they can now secure more money because they can verify income. I'm qualifying them, and I get a tax break at the same time. Those are 2 wins. I'm preparing them for success financially to be able to access things that the normal person can't access. I can create that narrative, and so can you, right? So we want to show you how to create the same narrative in your family. No more living below the poverty line or wondering what if. No, we're going to wonder, okay, what's next? What can I do next? Because now I have the means, now I have the resources to get what I want off the ground. I have miscellaneous money for security. So just in case things happen, I'm protected. I've got 6 months or a year of my payroll. I've got 6 months, a year of my bills or more than that set aside. I've got passive income working through insurance. I've got passive income working through Brandon Mr. Finance. I've got passive income working through real estate if I choose to. And I've got daily, hourly, weekly, monthly income coming in from other resources because I came through Brandon Mr. Finance and his partnership program. So what do you need to get into my partnership program? You need a minimum $15,000. 15. I'm gonna read off my levels of partnership because I want you to see how when I talk about deciding increase, how you can decide your increase. These are 2-year paybacks. So let's run through them, right? I've never done this through on air before, and I've been in radio for almost 20 years. But I talk about the numbers because I want you to kind of be able to visualize or conceptualize this could be me or this is me. I can do this. And then what comes inside of my partnership program, right? I'm making it real public. So if you invest $15,000, you get back $22,500. Your first month, you're going to get $3,750, and then every 90 days for the next 2 years, which means you get 7 more payouts for $3,750, a 50% return on your money, right? If you don't have any money but you have good credit, then you can get involved using the bank's money or a credit card, or retirement funds if you got that thing going. If your credit's not good at all, but you got some money in the bank, you got some retirement funds, or you got a partner or spouse that has good credit or credit card or cash or retirement funds that want to invest in you, or maybe you can pool resources together with someone just to get your feet wet. So that way it's not all on you. You can see how it goes. And if you want to grow it, you can grow it. Right now, what you've heard a lot on the radio was my prior promo where I said 3,000, 333. That's changed. Right. What we do now is 25,000 still gives you 40,000, a 60% return. Right. But 5,000 in your first 30 days, and then the same thing every 90 days for 2 years, 60% return. There's nothing that can beat my return in the market, and that's intentional, and it's really aggressive, right? But in the interim, we're going to build up business credit for you if you have qualified credit. We're going to build up business financials regardless of whether you have qualified credit or not. We're going to get you tax breaks inside of our program. We're going to show you how to build wealth through insurance, how you can pool resources and sometimes partner with us even with your credit's not so good, but you can say, hey, I want to be an equity partner in real estate, Brandon Mr. Finance, because of what I have and what I made with you to get involved in real estate too. Now we got 2 things clicking for you. And then you could insure over these things because now you're a business owner. Create some protections. Get a trust and will in place. I'm just trying to show you how the rich mind works, how the wealthy mind works. They're figuring out how to make money go to work for them. You're figuring out how you can go work for it. We got to change that narrative. Of course, even as an employer, you got to hire people. I hire people on my staff, but people on my staff, they are 1099, in most cases, or they're 1099 and W-2. Right? Why? Because I want them to be able to get the best of both worlds, both the for-profit, and then also the self-employment side of things, right? So we're going to create that narrative for you. Someone invests $50,000, they're going to get $84,000 back over 2 years. In the first 30 days, they're going to get $10,500, right? And then they're going to get that same thing every 90 days. And some people say, well, is that real? Well, there are 326 people that are in my program. Yes, it's real, right? And most of them have more than one investment with me, right? So the poor mind can't conceptualize it. They'll say, hey, it's a scam, it's a hustle. No, come see other people that are doing it, right? This is why I have so many events in person, so that way you can see people that are part of it. And it's come to the point now where I need facilities that hold 2,000 or 3,000 people because of it, right? And then you can hear from those who have just come a part of the real estate partnerships that just needed funding over the years to buy increase by buying commercial property. My program is just one vehicle. You don't have to do my program. It's just a vehicle to create something that can pay for what you borrow. You've never been given that opportunity to make that kind of return. So if your business wins or fails, that you got some protections, right? But you know what? The poor mindset they can't grasp it, right? So they'll stay poor until they decide that, hey, you know what? It's my time to increase. Right. So we want to show you how you can win and win economically, but not just one time through my program, win through insurance, win through real estate, win through trust and wills, and then arm those you love and you care for with the very same success principles, because now there's more than one of you at that point. So that means that you can do more individual and group economic deals, right? And it just goes up from there. I've got clients that invest $200,000 and make $136,000 over their investment. Simple, 24 months. What does that look like? 42,000 in 90 days, and every 90 days. Keep it real simple. So now the guessing part goes away, because now you're seeing that every 3 months you're going to get this check from us, right? So if you want to create real financial change and you want to see it happen now, text your name and partnership to 812-244-3609. Don't take my word for it. Go on my website and check out some of the testimonials. This is not a younger audience I'm servicing for the most part. It's mostly those who are between 55 and 60 or higher, right? And they're rinsing and repeating the program. I've got financial planners that are now calling me saying, well, how are you doing this? It's my secret sauce. But I still tell my clients they need to invest with you as well, because you have a larger beneficiary tab that they can tap into, but that they can also build more passive income. We don't want to slow people down. We want to speed things up for them, but we want to do it in a way where they can see real benefits, right? So once they see the checks come in, then the belief system changes, right? And this does not require 40 hours of your week, but I do ask you if you'll allow us to be able to give you all the things that come inside of our program, all the tax shelters. We're going to get this to you as soon as you get signed on. We're going to process your payments through direct deposit. So that way, just like your paycheck, but we're going to process them to your business. So your profits go through your business. And now you can expense down through the tax code, right? So, if you want to get involved in the partnership program, text your name and partnership to 812-244-3609 if you want some passive income immediately in the next 30 days. If you just want some funding and you have a good credit score and a good credit history and you have comparable credit, you say, Brand Mr. Finance, I want to finish my fix and flip project. I want to get into real estate. I want to buy some turnkey real estate that can replace my active income so I could be at home with my family or working on my other dreams. We want to help you to do those things too. Just text your name and funding to 812-244-3609. Text your name and funding to 812-244-3609. If you want to build a family wealth system in real estate or other things, let's have a conversation. Is your credit good, or do you have multiple friends and family members or partners that have good credit and you guys want to build together to buy commercial property, 20 units, 50 units, 100 units to create more passive lanes for yourself? We can help you there too. Text your name and funding to 812-244-3609. So you see, it's not only our program. Our goal is to give you a chance to put your hands on money that will allow you to exercise your dreams. Many of you have great credit and you walk into a bank and the bank said no. You say high debt ratio, not enough time on the job. You don't have a bank relationship for 6 months or 3 months, so we can't loan you cash, but we can give you a credit card. Now, what I tell all my clients is that when you get these credit cards on the personal side, you can disqualify yourself, because high usage is basically a sedative for a decline, because that means that you're a risk. Banks are risk-based, and they're also relationship-based. And they're also looking at your ledger balance, trying to see if you went negative on the account, or do you have money in your account? How long you've been with us? Do you have any credit cards? Do you have any loans, mortgages, car loans, student loans, personal loans? What do you have with us? And how have you handled other credit? Have you been studious elsewhere with your credit so that we can decide if we want to give you something small or great, right? So you must package yourself up to get where you want to be, to see what you want to see. Don't take my word for it. Research it. I tell all my clients, I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I'm very smart, very sharp, and I understand numbers very well. And most of your major institutions that are in Illinois, Indiana, and 12 other states for 20 years, if not longer, we've been their top company of influence. So places that you house your money already said no to you. if your credit's right, we can show you how to get to the yes. It's about the language. It's about the relationship. It's about the packaging, right? If you need $1 million to buy a commercial property, they won't give it to you because you're cute, or because you say I'm good for it. They want to see your credentials. So we prepare your credentials to make you qualified legitimately so that you can get where you want to be, so that you can take ownership of your life. You need to create ownership in your life because the tax code is more and more for the wealthy. And the poor, unfortunately, are getting poorer because their minds can't take it in. I can make $100,000 extra. Well, people have been doing that forever, right? You buy a 4-unit that can give you $2,000 a month per unit, and the mortgage is $3,000 or $4,000. Let's call it $4,000. If you're getting $6,000, $8,000 a month coming in, well, that's $48,000 above your investment. It's simple math, right? But you're not paying attention. But what if you bought that property and you built it from the ground for a lower economic number, and you build equity, and you can get income tax-free capital plus that same money or greater money because it's new, it's more modern, it's customized. You're looking through the wrong lens. Poor minds will laugh at this. Poor minds will think this is a joke, but you're gonna stay poor. I run with the rich, right? If you see me sponsoring a lot of things in and around communities, concerts. You see me throw the first pitch out of the White Sox game, and you see many other things going on TV. This is not fluff, right? I come from an underserved community, right? I come from humble beginnings, so I'm sharing with you as someone who started where you started. I just had my mother as the person to catapult me, and I met more people along the way that had more money, and I began to take things further than they took them. But I wanted to do it with the mindset of being able to share with other people, because everyone deserves an opportunity to create success. Everyone should be able to feel like they're free and not at the mercy of a job or someone else. You don't want people putting their foot on your neck, right? You want to decide how you want your days to live. Well, you got to do what it takes to get in position to do that. And if you just want to work a job, for some people, for most people, it's just going to be rehearsing that same day every year. I got 30 years here. They want to celebrate your work history, but not your growth from ownership, right? I could do one transaction or two transactions in a year's time and make more than most of you in inside of 10 days, if not a week. Not a boasting statement, but it's about what I know in the relationship, right? I can take one of my investments and say, hey, I got a deal over here that's $50,000 and needs $50,000 to be fixed up, but I want 50 grand for bringing you this deal. You can partner with me on it, right? And I'm going to make 50 grand for something that can make somebody else another 150 grand because I did an intro. I got friends like this in my circle, and we help each other to make money. That's what the rich do, right? Right. So get in a position to where you can help your family without having to go through all the extra interest part of it all, because now you've built liquidity or you got money through insurance, leveraging that annuity, leveraging that IUL, leveraging that, what you put into an investment that will grow that whole life policy, because you've invested heavier droves of money to give yourself heavier returns, but also a passive income opportunity, or in case of an emergency fund where you don't need permissions to borrow from your retirement fund. Because if you work a job with a 401k or 403b, a TSP, a deferred comp, you got to explain yourself as to why you need your money. You should be offended. Just my opinion, right? But that's your harsh reality. I don't need permissions to borrow my money from my insurance. I don't need permission to borrow equity from my property. Yeah, bank must go through underwriting, of course, but my properties are debt free, right? So if I got 100, I got banks that if it's less than 50% or 50% or lower, they don't do an appraisal. They don't care about your credit, and you can borrow the money. Now let's flip the script. You got good credit, you got a job, and the bank said no because you got student loans, because they disqualified you for student loans because it made your debt ratio high. And these things are deferred right now. They count student loan debt against you. When I first started in the mortgage industry, these things didn't count against you, but this is how you keep people depressed. How you keep them poor. You don't let them own an asset that they can leverage to get rid of debt and make life a little bit more inexpensive. As life gets more expensive, nothing's getting cheaper. It's going up. When I was coming up, gas was 60 some odd cents, maybe 50 some cents, high 50s, right? For some people, y'all go back further than that, the gas was much cheaper. But for me in my lifetime, so when I see $4, I see that's a heck of a markup. That's some inflation going on. But the income is not moving up that fast. Even when it does move up, the cost of rent, the cost of utilities, the cost of cell phones, the cost of gas, the cost of food, everything is going up. But your money not rising to the occasion with the inflation. What will you do? Because soon and very soon, for some people, they have to live with family or strangers that they don't want to live with because the money's just not there. Many are working 2 jobs and still be broken. They got bad credit, so they don't qualify to buy a house either or a building either. So they can't even they can't even see the light, right? But we're going to show you how to change your own dynamics. But you got to get beyond your fears. You got to stop paralyzing yourself. holding yourself back. So if you want change in your life, right? And I'm gonna be real with you, I go through ups and downs, even as a millionaire. Don't get it twisted. It happens in business. I watch friends lose $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 in a day often, right? I've taken some losses here and there myself. So don't think that because I'm me that I don't go through ups and downs. But what I do is I have other machines, other vehicles that can put me back in place in the event of, in case of an emergency, called life insurance, called equity in real estate. If I didn't have the credit, I could put somebody in tune with what I have going on to go get $1 million in a week's time or whatever I need because of what I've got in place. And I can say to that person, hey, look, I can give you some income tax-free capital if you want to partner with me in this situation to get where you want to be, to own your time now. Or I can say, hey, you know what? If you do this for me, I'll make you an equity partner in this for the rest of your life or for the next 10 years or whatever we discuss to make it financially feasible. And it might be even, I like to give aggressive investments because I want people around me to have. No more have-nots. It's time for you to have, right? I didn't know what this show was going to be like for me today because I was kind of thinking, do I play a replay or do I come in? But when God say move, I move, right? So if you want change in your life, I got vehicles that can create that change for you and now, not 5 or 10 years from now. Some of you have impeccable credit. You say, I'm struggling. I'm suffering. Something's wrong. Your mindset is keeping you poor because you worry about a credit score instead of figuring out how I can make my life more cushy and comfortable for me and those I love and I care for and how to protect myself against what's happening around me. It's happening. It's political. It's biblical. It's all kinds of, it's spiritual. You name it, right? But if you don't move, you're going to continue to get more of the same. You don't have to buy into my program. I'm just one vehicle, but I'm the most aggressive in the market. Research that. There's nobody doing 50 to 60% returns like mine's for small investments like this, 15,000, 25,000, 50 or 100,000. You usually got to be 7 figures. And even those things are not being provided, probably 8-figure investors, because that's an extreme risk to invest or put behind someone. But even in those cases, they borrow money from banks. They leverage the banks. They borrow cash to buy cash and make the bank sponsor their increase and get a tax write-off for doing so. When you going to step in on your opportunity to create success, or will you forever live in fear, paralyzing your own self and keeping yourself away from victory? How long will you let Social Security or disability, or the job that you retired from, or a combination of those things tell you what you can make? They told you what you could make when you worked there. They told you what you could make when you left. It offends me, right? Because as long as you're working there, you can go make a ton of money, and they can't stop you because right now you're working for them. You're making them make money. But even on some of these jobs with government clearances, I've got clients way up that got government clearances that are in Congress and other places that cannot own real estate or other investments. They regulate it. They still can't grow. Something's wrong. Right? But if you don't tap in, you're going to be right where you at. You're going to be watching a looky-loo, right? Meanwhile, people like myself, I'm going to continue to move. You got to see me on 12 TV networks every day. You got to hear 372 commercials every single day. You got to see me throwing the first pitch out of the White Sox game or sponsoring concerts with this gospel or R&B across the country. You got to see billboards and buses in many states right now because I believe in what I invest in. That's the narrative. I'm not boasting or bragging about me, but I'm just trying to tell you that the bank sponsored my increase because of great credit. The education that the guy gave my mom that she passed on to me, I leveraged that and I maximized it. And I poured this into other people so that way I maximize relationships so that we grow together. I ain't going at it alone. But if I help you make an extra $50,000 or $100,000 in a year or $200,000 in a year or 2 years, you'll take my phone calls because, hey, Brandon, what else you got? Or how else can I grow? That's what it's about for me, right? So if you want real financial change, I give you a couple ways of doing it. If you want funding and you want to do it your own way, that's perfectly fine. Text your name and funding to 812-244-3609. Text your name and funding to 812-244-3609 or go online to brandonmrfinance.com. Fill out that short form. Let me know what you need when you need it. If you need funding, if you want to partner with me, if you want to get involved in real estate or all the above, fill out that short form and block a time in my calendar, right? My calendar feels fast. I tell people respectfully, I get more than 6,000 calls a week. That's legit, right? So if you want to create change and you want to see it now, right? You say, Brandon, I'm ready to start yesterday. I got 25,000. I got 15,000. Make my money grow for me. I got money in this CD and it's not growing. It expires or it matures on this date. I want to start with you on this date. But let's talk about the plan before you even invest. Because I'm a person that likes to say, let me show it to you on paper. Let me show it to you in black and white. That way you can see it. Then we're going to have an agreement because I don't do anything verbal, friends or family. We keep business, and we have a good time later, right? But ultimately, we can start to plan your future. Or say, hey, you know what? I'm going to do this with you, Brandon, to finance. I want to buy one piece of property where I can buy it, improve it, and refinance it. Give myself $50,000 with no taxes. Recover what I put into it. I want to do that once or twice a year to make $100,000 with no taxes. I want to repeat that program for 5 years, make $500,000. Or if I just made $250,000 with no taxes, I made a passive income there. I recovered my initial investment. I built business credit, built tax shelters, built compound interest revenues through insurance, protected my family and the generations that follow. I won. You won. We all won. I want to get into your partnership program, Brandon, Mr. Finance. I'm willing to invest the $15,000 or the $25,000 or the $50,000 or $200,000, whatever that number is. Let's talk about that part first before you make any investment. I want to have a clear conversation with you because what I've learned in helping these 326 people is that some people, their mindsets are still not ready to conceive that they're actually making this kind of money without having to give up labor, and then they're getting tax breaks. They're actually making more money and getting tax breaks, and they still can't understand how or that they're growing. So we got a lot more work to do on the mental because so many of you have been beat down so bad by life that it's hard for you to receive it and understand that I'm really successful, or I'm really making extra money without having to labor. I don't need to give up 40 hours or 50 hours of my week, and I could be home at a decent hour or when I decide to, because I'm now the owner of the company. I'm now a corporation. I'm now a tax shelter. I'm now a hub to build wealth, not only for myself, but for those I love and I care for. And I want to make these things carry forward. Right. So if you want that for yourself, text your name and partnership to 812-244-3609. If you're ready to make an immediate passive income between $3,750 and $42,000 in the next 30 days, and then every 90 days leveraging cash, credit, investments, or the bank's money, right? And then you want to build out for real estate. You want to build out for your transportation company. Because let me tell you something, real estate and transportation are two things that we can do separate, and we can still do unsecured financing for personal, right? For business, for not-for-profits, right? And build credibility on more than one occasion so that you have more resources for miscellaneous or the unexpecteds in life, right? If you want this kind of change in your life, text your name and partnership to 812-244-3609. Text your name and partnership to 812-244-3609, or go online to brandonmrfinance.com. I tell my clients all the time, don't take my word for it. I put my contracts there in case lawyers want to see things, right? So now we can get beyond all those extra inserts. Lawyers can actually review your contract without me being present. So you can say yes or no. That's intentional because my stuff's above board. It's no funny business. I'm a contract person. I like you to see it. If it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, it's not. But if you just want some funding, same thing. We have an agreement. Once we deliver, we have an expectation, right? No upfront fees for any funding program. So if you want to buy real estate, if you want to get vehicle financing for individual or fleet financing, whether it's a box truck, whether it's a semi, whether it's a dually, whether it's a hot shot, whether it's a reefer truck, you name it, a dump truck, we can do this. You want cars for a transportation for a luxury business, we can do individual and group and fleet financing for that too. 100% financing, but we need to make sure that a few particulars are in place, and you can still do unsecured financing to manage payroll, right? To manage fuel costs, to get your proper insurances and money for breakdowns and other expenses, and to own where you operate and create more passive lanes and still use my program to pay for it. You winning, but you got to give yourself the permission to get involved in these things. And if you have questions, let's get those questions answered. Don't think it's a joke, right? Because I'm not laughing. I'm good. I laugh all the way to the bank. I laugh all the way to more real estate and more vehicles and more tax breaks and building more people around me. And people around me begin to insert themselves in that very same situation. I get people that laugh and say this is a joke. No. Rich people have built that. Rich people have built that wealth on your back and on your labor. Laugh at that, right? That's not funny, right? So we're going to show you how to create change in your life. And right now, if you want that for yourself so that you can have ownership, so that you can say, if I want to walk from this job, I'm tired of giving all my labor. My knees are bad. My body's aching. I want to spend more time with family. I want to travel the world and make these things a tax break because this is my business. I can do so, right? Most of what you do in life is tax deductible when structured properly. From faith-based donations to luxuries to necessities, you name it, right? Charitable donations, you name it. These things, the tax code was not designed for the everyday person, right? And so I've had people that call my phone. I know they're testers. I'm smart. I've been at this a long time. So I know all the ins and outs. I know all the vehicles, right? Maybe not everything, but what sounds right. I know what sounds right and what sounds wrong. And I know when people are just trying to get information from me. But then I know from those who are serious and hungry for change, we want to create that change for them now. You have power, but you won't give yourself that power because you're a slave to the paycheck. I gotta say it like that. It's an unfortunate series of events occurring in your life for 30 to 40 years for most people. Now, some people, it was the times and you had to go through that. I get it. But today, with so much available to people between the internet and social media and all things that you can outsource and do to build and grow, and with good credit, what you can do with it, there's no excuse, right? So you either going to buy into success or rehearse failure, or rehearse the same days that make you feel like failure and unaccomplished because you want to allow yourself to grow because of fear paralyzing you. Time to break the chains. Time to get rid of the bondage, right? So if you got friends and family that need to see it, share this with them. Tag them, give me a call. The call is free. Even if you don't get into my program, I'll still have a conversation with you or somebody on my team will, because you know what? It's imperative that we pass along success principles and give people a chance to be able to live out their dreams. And we do it unafraid and unapologetically. So if you want financial change, you want some funding, text your name and funding to 812-244-3609. If you want passive income, you want funding, you want to buy real estate, you want to start a transportation business, you want to do an event space, you have a ministry, you have a cause, right? And you want to do more than one thing. You want to build generational wealth and financial freedom that will last, right? That you can create. And then no matter whether your credit's good or bad, you want access points to money, because why do most businesses fail, or most people fail? Like they don't have resources or means to the resources, or know who to talk to or what to say when it comes time to apply for these things. Or get set up for these things. We do. I spent 28 and a half years in finance. I rubbed shoulders with some of the richest people and wealthiest people that you probably could think of. Now, maybe not the maximum people, but I've met a couple of billionaires in my day. They own telecom companies, and they live real modest. They got horses and all kinds of things on their wall in their basements. They drive Saturns, and they're wealthy, right? Because once you got it, you got it. You ain't got to show the world. You know who you are, right? So be you. Don't buy into what somebody else says, somebody else's idea of success. What is your idea of success? This belongs to you, right? And once you give yourself that permission, that's a freedom that man, so it's a big weight that's lifted, right? So, once I decide, okay, well, you know what? I want to buy increase. I want to build my family for solid credit around me so they can buy increase too. And then we want to invest in things that our number one assets, our life, and create compound interest. And then we want to protect what we have for spouses and babies and grandbabies with trust and will, so that probate can never take it from us. We want to buy real estate in cash and to create equity and get income tax-free capital and build passive streams that somebody else pays for our debts and we get tax breaks. We want to set it up. We want to own commercial property and communities to do different things, to give back, to provide a place for children to play, right? A safe place right now. We want to rescue people that have been through domestic and unfortunately human trafficking and hostile situations, and then get grant money to do more things that will benefit community, right? Well, you got to have somebody that know how to do it, right? And then not worry about finances getting in the way. Have I had finances get in the way of my life? Absolutely. And I just built another machine to make sure that I create more insulation to protect myself, right? So that way I don't go through those changes. Or if I do, I got a resource or means to put my hands on something to get out of that, right? So you got to have protective measures. I'm a firm believer that when you borrow money and you spend money, you should have a vehicle to make it come back to you with some extra, and get a tax break for living a better life. Drive a better car because of the weight, or drive a better car of your dreams and put it in your business name and make that a corporate vehicle. Now it's a tax write-off for you. These are simple things. Buy real estate in your corporation's name and make it a tax write-off. These are simple fixes. I've got clients that only make $700 a month that now make $40,000 or $50,000 a month with me because they took that good credit and they leveraged based on their future or projected income because of that good credit history. What's a good credit history? 680 credit scores, 2 years of credit history, no bankruptcies, no foreclosure in the last 3 years, minimal credit inquiries, and reasonable credit usage. So what I had to get back in the habit of doing was say, hey, let me review your credit, see where you stand, no upfront costs, no inquiry to your credit. I look at Credit Karma, Experian, Identity IQ, one of those platforms to see where you stand, to see if you have comparable credit and you can build the way you want to build. If you're looking for these things, text your name and partnership or your name and funding to 812-244-3609. Text your name and partnership or your name and funding to 812-244-3609. It's time to free yourself. You've been in prison way too long, mentally, financially. Right. For some people, they've been held hostage about other things. So if you want change in your life, text your name in partnership to 812-244-3609 or funding to 812-244-3609, or go online to brandonmrfinance.com and book an appointment. Fill out that short form. It's been a plum pleasure to serve you again. I love you with my loving with God's love. I am Brandon Mr. Finance, the millionaire maker, looking to make who? You. That's right. You, a millionaire too. I thank you for your time. God bless.
Brothers and sisters, I want to welcome